You know, I don't always need axes and hatchets and saws on trail, especially if I'm backpacking, because most of the backpacking trips, not only am I trying to go lightweight, but they're usually dedicated trails that don't require any clearing. A lot of times we don't even have campfires. But I do have a soft spot for the axes and hatchets and saws. Especially like on a trip that I'm on right now. I'm in the Boundary Waters canoe area up in northern Minnesota where it's pretty wild. So a lot of times things need clearing, but more importantly, firewood needs to be processed. So I ended up picking up this Hults Bruk Almike Hatchet. This thing has performed very, very well. So stick around and I'll tell you all about it. So the Almike Hatchet from Hults Bruk, I saw this at REI of all places. It was $139.95 at the time of this review. I had a gift card, so it ended up costing me, quite a bit less, so I ended up picking it up. The head itself, hand forged, in a mill that's been around since 1697, so they've been making axe heads for forever. But the axe head, it's smaller, it only weighs a pound, and they fitted a 16-inch American hickory wood handle, and this one is coated from the factory out of the box with linseed oil. The actual blade is a 3-inch cutting surface, and it's hammered in with the ring style just to create that pressure fit, but it's fitted really, really well. It's a very high quality tool made here. It's got a lot of refinement. It's just meant to be out in the woods like this. But just like with any other tools, you got to take care of it. Carbon steel blade, just make sure you don't keep it wet. Sharpen it, which it comes with a razor edge right out of the box. But it looks cool, but how does it perform? Kind of doing a little woods walk. Found this old dead pine, so I think we're gonna go ahead and fell it and try to buck her up and drag her back to camp. But we'll use the hatchet to break it down.
That'll be a test.
Yeah. So it's starting to rot quite a bit at the bottom, which makes sense because we're kind of in a boggy area. So I think we're probably gonna cut it low, especially with the hatchet with such a short handle. It'll be a little bit safer. What do you think? Just notch it out and then back cut it?
Yeah, give it a notch with the hatchet. Drop it right between all this shrubbery here where we're going to drag it back to camp and do a back cut with the silky saw. Silky saw would have this no troubles, but I kind of want to see what that axe will do.
Yeah. Alright, let's give her a go. Now, like I said, I'm going to start pretty low. I want to be careful of my overswings. And when you're notching a tree like this, you want to make your notch as wide as the tree itself. She's hard. She is solid down there. So you can see this little hatchet got a pretty good notch. We got all the way to the center. This is actually a little bit too deep, but I mean that's a pretty good start. So now we're gonna back cut on the back side there. It smells very resinous. You can smell that pine resin in there. These really nice uniform rings. This is a great piece of firewood. So obviously, ideally, you'd want a bigger axe, but we're taking the hatchet to this just to see how well it does. And I brought the Silky Gomboy with me. Ideally, you want a bigger, you know, a buck saw or something, but I think this'll work.
Well, so the things that we did that we can do better next time we cut this tree, our kerf was a little too deep and it went into the core of the tree. The good information we got from that is we found out it's been rotten out and hollowed, so that strength from the fibers that would have gave us our smooth landing was gone, which means it would have dropped like a sack of lead rags. When we did our back cut, we did it just a little too high. We're about 2.5 fingers tall, and we should have been coming in here about 1 finger above our kerf, and we didn't do that, which meant when we went to push the tree over just to give it that last little bit, there was a lot of resistance and it kind of wanted to go back the other way. There was some spring to it, but that's just the reality of us working here in this mossy swamp and trying to fell a tree with a tiny axe and a tiny saw. Like, not everything's perfect. But we did it, and we got some firewood. Let's buck it up.
We got the 3 chunks hauled back to camp. I'm just going to use the Boreal 21 to get this bigger hunk off. And then we're going to use the hatchet to see what kind of work we can do on a bigger chunk like this. This little hatchet's been doing some pretty good work. But I'm going to go ahead and chop this. I'm going to stay behind this just in case there is an overswing. I can hit this if anything, but I'm going to give it a pretty good whack here and see what kind of damage we can do to it. Whoa. That is solid, man.
Yeah, I don't know if that hatchet's going to be enough.
Well, we'll give her a go. Maybe I'll... Oh, got a little crack. Starting to crack a little bit. Oh, I missed. Hey! So I got a pretty good chunk out of it. Not too bad, but we can work with this. Went ahead and chopped that log up just a little bit more. But now we got some of these smaller pieces here. So a piece like this should be fairly easy to crack. So you can see, I mean, that little hatchet does a pretty damn good job for smaller tasks like this. Now ideally, yeah, you'd want a bigger axe for a tree that big. But you can still break it down into very manageable pieces. And you could break it down further using the hatchet. Even on this side, you could use your knife if you had to. But I think for a hatchet this size, it's very, very capable. You know, especially for, like I said, the smaller tasks. But this is really nice. I'm really glad I picked this up. I'll leave a link to where I got this down in the description below. But if you have any questions on this, if you have any comments about it, leave those down in the comment section. I read all the comments and I answer them all. But I appreciate you watching. Appreciate you stopping by. You know, just be sure to get outside and enjoy this big, beautiful world. I always say it. Just go and just do it. I appreciate you watching. We'll see you on the next one.